With Ridvan Yilmaz sent back to Glasgow to be reviewed by Rangers medical staff, it looks highly likely that he will be missing from the Hibs game, and also probably likely as well that unfortunately he will miss the Old Firm game at Ibrox against that lot from across our city. So let's think about options to replace him. It is obviously a huge loss. Ridvan has been absolutely brilliant this season, well, since Christmas especially, and has been one of the first names on the team sheet. His performances, even in games where we have perhaps not played to the fullest of our abilities, like the Benfica home game, like the Motherwell game, have still been very good indeed. Now, Ridvan is the best left back at the club by a street. Very good going forward, very good defensively. His delivery is improving. He scored a couple of goals this season. He's by far been the best left back. Now, Rangers obviously have a number of options there to replace him, with the fact that he looks highly likely to be missing the upper thigh injury. Could even end his season if it is somewhere as serious as Abdallah Seema's was. So, obviously there was no update from the club yet. The club have not come out and said for definite how bad the injury is. I'm sure that in the press conference that Philippe Clement gives this week, we'll find out a little bit more about Ridvan Yilmaz. So what's the options? I mean, obviously the primary option that a lot of people are thinking of, and I think, there's still some Rangers fans who defend him, it's Borna Barisic. But, Borna Barisic playing there concerns me for three reasons. Number one, he's been absolutely dismal this year. You can sort of pick out his good performances on one hand. Say that Kilmarnock game last time out when he was hooked at half-time, he was absolutely appalling in the first half. Second reason is he's already agreed a move to Trabzon in the summer. We remember what happened last season with the players who, after January, knew they weren't going to be staying at Rangers, the Ryan Kents, the Alfredo Moreloses of this world, who kind of just down tools and gave up. Do we really want a player who's not 100% fully committed on the park? You kind of, would have to think that could be the case. Players don't want to get injured. They don't want to risk that move. I'm sure he's getting a nice big fat signing on fee to sign for Trabzonspor. So, he's not going to want to risk that. And, thirdly, thinking ahead now towards that game at Ibrox against Celtic, how many times in the past has Borna Barisic let us down against Celtic? He's been a bomb scare against them on a number of occasions, been to blame for a number of goals against them. So he really does worry me on that left-hand side of the defence, especially, as we're missing Seema from ahead of him, Cortez from ahead of him, and obviously as well, Matondo is still returning from injury. So who are the options? I mean, obviously John Lee Yefeko has been talked about, but he's obviously still very young and inexperienced. Adam Devine is out on loan at Motherwell. So that's another one. Robbie Fraser, the B team captain again, but has no first team experience. Now, one player who is now fit and could well come in to replace him, I think should replace him, is Dujon Sterling. Now, I know what a lot of people will say. Well, Dujon's been very effective in midfield. He's been very effective out wide. True, he has. But I think you can kind of say that Dujon has been effective wherever you have played him. And the fact that, in central midfield, there are a number of options we can put there, that will do just as good a job. Mo Diamande, John Lundstrom, Nicholas Raskin, etc. Out wide right, the likelihood obviously is McCausland probably will be fit. Matondo is coming back. Fabio Silva, Tom Lawrence can play out wide. So there's a number of options there to play out wide. Whereas at left back, for me, there is no option really other than Dujon Sterling. Sterling, will never and has never let the team down, no matter where he's played. And he's played a whole range of positions for Rangers this season. Here's a spread of where he's actually played for Rangers this past season. So he's played as a defensive midfielder and been outstanding in that position. He's played as a right back. He's played as a left back twice, in fact, as a left midfielder, as a right midfielder, and as a right winger as well. So, he's played in a number of different positions for the club this season. And I defy anyone to tell me a game where Dujon has let us down. Tell me where, Dujon has let Rangers down. I can't remember a single time that this lad has let the club down. Defensively, he is sound. He's strong in the tackle. He's good going forward. He's played on the left this season. Yes, his left foot is not his strongest, but ideally, yes, it is great to have a left foot at left back, but with Ridvan out, Johnny Ufeka probably too inexperienced, Robbie Fraser too inexperienced, and Borna just not good enough. You know, this is the option. And I think for me, this is the best option. Number one, he will give you defensive solidity there. Number two, he gives you height as well. You know, he's over 6 foot. He gives you good height to defend the back post from crosses that are to the back post that get by both Hibs and that lot. He will also as well be useful from set pieces, as giving us extra height at attacking set pieces. Furthermore, he gets forward and supports the winger well. You know, he's good on the overlap. He's much better at his delivery now. He's much better at getting forward than he was at the start of the season. All positives. And I think, you know, he is a confidence player. He is a player that is filled with bags of confidence. You know, if this man is fit, for me, it's an absolute no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer that you put him on the left-hand side of that back four against Hibs and against that lot from across the city. You know, for me, against Hibs and against Celtic, you go with Jack Butland in goal. You've got to go with your strongest back four, because at the end of the day, these are 2 critical games. In fact, these are 4 critical games going into the split. So that's Tav at right back, Goldson at centre back, because obviously Kamona showed that he's unwilling to drop Goldson, Suter at left side centre back, and for me, Dujon Sterling at left back. That gives the defence a more solid feel to it, and someone who can be relied upon and trusted 100% of the time. The issue again with Borna is that he does go missing, that he does get injured, you know, and when we need him, that he does, you know, not offer you as much going forward, that he will sort of, you know, push everything over onto Tav's side, because, you know, he is not as effective going forward. For me, like I said, Dujon Sterling has to start for Hibs and Celtic. Just has to. Guys, let me know what you think. Like I said, I think there's enough options in central midfield and out wide to us to fill them, even with all the injuries, to give Dujon Sterling the left back slot against Hibs and Celtic. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Guys, as always, please obviously smash that sub. We've had declining subs in recent times, which is awful. You know, if you don't want the channel anymore, just let me know. Thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. As always, guys, please, on the way out, if you can smash the like, because likes help videos to grow here on YouTube. And remember, always, we are the people.